Hello, everyone, and glad to see you all at another Oxygen XML live event. My name is Alin Belu, and I will be your host for today's webinar titled How to Enable Content Indexing and Search in Oxygen Feedback 3. As you might know by now, Oxygen Feedback version 3.0 was released approximately a month ago, and this latest version brought some exciting new enhancements to our modern comment management platform, including the implementation of content indexing and search functionality. During this webinar, my colleague Aline Balasha, senior software developer at Synchrosoft, the company that produces the Oxygen suite of products, will provide a detailed overview of the various features that were added for those who want to make the most of our new and advanced search functionality, as well as information about the other new features that version 3.0 brings to the table. Our expert speaker will delve into the technical details and demonstrate how you can take advantage of these new features. So whether you are an existing Oxygen Feedback user or are just interested in discovering more about our modern commenting platform, this webinar is a great opportunity to learn about the latest developments and how they can benefit your business. As usual, let me tell you some information that you need to know about our live events. As always, all of our webinars are being recorded, so this one makes no exception. After the webinar comes to an end, the recording will be made available on the event page on our site, oxygenxml.com, along with Aline's presentation slides. And also the recording will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, Oxygen XML, that some of you might be accustomed with by now. And if not, I always encourage you to take a look at it afterwards and see for yourself the impressive library of tutorials that are there available for you. Another important aspect that we care about is that as we go along, we definitely encourage you to ask us questions by using the questions panel from the GoToWebinar interface, where our colleagues Radu and Adriana will assist us by answering to all of your questions in real time. And of course, we will be addressing those questions again at the end in a Q&A session, along with your latest entries for the benefit of everyone joining us today. So without further ado, let me welcome Aline Balasha to our virtual stage. Hi, Aline.
Hello, welcome. This is the first webinar for Oxygen Feedback in 2023. In this webinar, you'll learn how to replace the default search engine of Oxygen WebHelp Responsive output with a search engine powered by Oxygen Feedback. The main benefits of configuring Oxygen Feedback to search your HTML content are the search process is faster because it is performed on the server. The content index is kept up to date when content is republished. You can configure the language used for indexing process. After that, I will show you some basic hints on how to optimize the content of a topic in order to have that page ranked higher in the search results. And at the end, I will overview other new features that were added in the latest version of Oxygen Feedback. So whether you are a technical writer, a content manager, or anyone who wants to improve their content, indexing and searching capabilities, this webinar is for you. Starting with version 3.0, Oxygen Feedback can be configured as an external search engine for Oxygen WebHelp Responsive output. Oxygen Feedback represents a server-side alternative to the default client-side search engine embedded in the WebHelp output. So before continuing, let's see a general comparison between a client-side and a server-side search process. A client-side search process has the following characteristics. Runs in the user's web browser, can be slower and less efficient than the server-side searching, especially for large amount of content. requires downloading the entire search index to the user device, which can be a burden for slower connections or limited devices, and can be limited by the resources available on the user's device, such as processing power and memory. On the other hand, the server-side search process runs on the server, typically hosted by the application provider, can be faster and more efficient than the client-side searching, especially for large amounts of content, requires server-side infrastructure, which can be more complex to implement and maintain, returns only the relevant search results to the user's web browser, reducing the amount of data that needs to be downloaded. And it is not limited by the resources available on the user's device, as the server can scale to handle large amount of content. To configure Oxygen Feedback as an external search engine in Oxygen WebHelp, we must activate the indexing functionality in the current version of our site configuration. Please note that this functionality requires the output to be generated using Oxygen WebHelp version 25 or later. The content index plays a critical role in the search process by serving as a map or a guide that enables Oxygen Feedback to quickly and efficiently locate relevant content based on user queries. When Oxygen Feedback crawls the WebHelp responsive output, it indexes the content of each page, creating a searchable record of the HTML content. The index stores information about the content of each page, including the text and the page title, as well as metadata such as keywords, index terms, and description. In Oxygen Feedback 3.0, a new content indexing and search section was added in the version settings page. This new section has an option to enable or disable the content indexing functionality. Let's see it in action. In Oxygen Feedback, we'll go to the version settings page of the user guide for WebHelp Responsive 25.1. Here is the new section, the content indexing and search section. You must click the edit button to expand the section and expose the enable content indexing toggle option. Let's enable content indexing. Once content indexing is enabled, you can also choose the language that the search engine will use for the indexing process. This will allow Oxygen Feedback to use language-specific rules when analyzing the content. There are numerous different languages to choose from. Here is the list of the available languages that you can use to index your content. We'll continue with English. At the end, we must save and commit the changes. After saving the changes, an indexing process is automatically triggered. As you can see, the status has changed. Oxygen Feedback indexes the HTML content available at the base URL of the current site configuration version. This is the base URL for the WebHelp Responsive user guide. And Oxygen Feedback will index the HTML content available at this base URL. Once the WebHelp output has been successfully indexed, Oxygen Feedback will allow users to find the content they are looking for. Moreover, you can change the indexer language at any time by editing the content indexing and search settings. Please note that if the language is changed, the current index is dropped and a new indexing task is started. When there is a change in the WebHelp content, the index process is re-triggered. This will allow users to search through the updated content. There is also a reindex button in the content indexing and search section that can be used to start an indexing operation. Let's go back to the version settings page. Here, after the index process is finished, you'll have a reindex button available here. The current status of the indexing process is also displayed in the content indexing and search section. There is a dedicated button that can be used to query the status on demand. This is the button next to the status. Um, the status of an indexing operation can be not indexed. This means no index is currently available. Scheduled, the indexing operation is waiting for an available executor. In progress, the content is being indexed. Ready, the indexing operation was successfully performed. And failed, meaning that the indexing process has failed. When content indexing is enabled for a site's version, the corresponding WebHelp responsive output will use Oxygen feedback as the search engine when users search the published content. On the other hand, if the content indexing is disabled, the search will be performed using the JavaScript search engine bundled in the WebHelp responsive output. Search results are ranked based on a complex algorithm used by the search engine to determine the relevance of each page to the user's search query. The search engine computes scores for every result that matches the search criteria and uses these scores to sort the search results. The search rank of a page depends on the location and the number of occurrences of the search terms in the content. The search ranking order sorted by relevance is determined by the following location. If the search terms are found in the page titles or in the keywords or index terms metadata, the page will be ranked higher. Next come the short description and section headings, H1 to H6, bold text, italic, and underlined text. And on the last position is the plain text. If the search terms are found in regular text, the score assigned to the page will be lower. As a hint, you can use the index term and keywords data elements as an effective way to increase the ranking of a page. The terms found in these elements add a lot of weight to the current page in the list of search results. So let's perform a search in the user guide of Oxygen WebHelp Responsive. But first, let's check the indexing status because we have recently enabled content indexing. Let's go back to the version settings page and check the status. It seems that it seems that the status of the indexing operation is currently scheduled. It didn't catch an active executor to run the indexing status, the indexing process. So let's go to another user manual to show you the search functionality. Let's go to the Oxygen feedback user manual. Here, let's say we want to find out about how to install Oxygen feedback, and let's search installation fragment. As you can see, the search results are displayed with the pages that have the highest score at the top. Let's click on this topic, which is the topic that we were searching for. So this is the search functionality. Let's go to the next feature. So in addition to indexing and searching functionality, version 3.0 of Oxygen feedback brings important improvements to the page ratings component. Now you have the ability to choose whether to display like and dislike actions, like and dislike icons, instead of text responses for the page ratings component. Let's navigate to a WebHelp Responsive topic page and see how the page ratings component looks like on that page. Let's scroll down to the page rating component. As you can see, the page rating component is currently configured to display text options for the buttons, yes and no. Let's go to the WebHelp responsive site configuration settings page in WebHelp in Oxygen feedback and change the page rating component to display icons instead of text. So this is the settings page for the site configuration. Here is a configuration. Here are the configuration options for the page rating component. You can choose to use like and dislike actions or icons, or text for the buttons. I'll choose like and dislike icons. I need to save the new settings and then go back to Oxygen WebHelp responsive user guide, refresh the page, and the page rating component is updated to display like and dislike icons instead of text options. Another important enhancement is that you now have the possibility of displaying a survey when a user gives a negative rating for a page. This allows your users to offer anonymous feedback explaining why they gave your page a negative rating. Let's navigate again to a WebHelp Responsive topic page. This one. Let's click no or dislike in order to display the negative page rating section. As you can see, the user has the possibility to choose from a list of predefined messages or to add a custom message. Let's add a custom message. I don't know, this is a test. And click send. The options for the negative ratings component can be configured in the general settings page of the current site. So let's go back to the site configuration settings in Oxygen Feedback. Here, a site admin can configure the title of the negative rating survey component, the privacy note that is displayed in the output, the options displayed in the survey that the users can choose from when offering their feedback, the placeholder text for the form that is used to collect feedback, and the text for the button that is used by your community to send their feedback. The anonymous feedback is displayed in the statistics table from the page ratings page, which now includes a feedback messages column that shows the number of messages that were posted by users. Let's navigate to the WebHelp Responsive page ratings page in Oxygen Feedback. This is the page ratings page. You can see the feedback messages column that displays the number of anonymous messages for each page. Here are listed the top 100 pages that received negative or positive votes for the current site. There is sections for the negative votes and a section for positive votes. We can click the number of messages associated with the page, and a dialog box is opened, which displays all the messages posted for that page and version. This is the message we added earlier. Let's close. Let's go to the version settings for the Oxygen WebHelp responsive and check. It seems that the indexing operation was not completed yet. I was curious about that, but I think the indexing the index operation will be scheduled later. So let's go back to our presentation. This concludes the webinar. As a conclusion, starting with version 3.0, Oxygen Feedback can be configured to provide server-side searching capabilities for WebHelp responsive output. In addition to this, users that visit a feedback-enabled web page can leave anonymous feedback about content of that page. This concludes the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Aline, for your presentation. Okay, so let's take a look at the questions panel to see if we have something that we can answer. Okay, the first question is the automatic re-indexing period configurable?
The automatic reindexing process checks at every 5 minutes if there is a change in the published output, and if it detects a change, a reindex operation is triggered. But this time interval is not configurable. I think we can add an improvement for the next versions. So no, the answer is no, it is not configurable.
Thank you, Aline. Let's jump to the next question. Also, I want to tell everyone that the questions panel is not closed. You can still ask us questions. Is the search ranking configurable, and can you configure the score associated with the content location?
No, the answer is still no. The scores assigned to the locations in the content that I mentioned earlier are predefined, so you cannot configure which section weighs more in the search results. So I think we can add this as an improvement too for the next version.
Thank you. We have some feedback from Manfred for today's presentation. Very well done. Thanks again, gents. Thank you, Manfred, for being able to join us today. Let's jump to another question. I think is the last section, the last question. I'm sorry for today. If nobody wants to ask us anything else, what happens when the search function is disabled on the feedback server? The WebHelp documentation will remain without a search function?
No, if the searching functionality is disabled for the current site configuration, the WebHelp output will use the embedded search engine. Its client-side search engine implemented in JavaScript will be available for the search process. So if you choose to not enable the search and the indexing functionality in Oxygen Feedback, to use Oxygen Feedback as a search engine, the WebHelp Responsive output will still have its own search engine. Oxygen Feedback only comes as an external search engine, as a server-side alternative for the WebHelp's internal search engine. There were cases when users have reported that the search functionality available in WebHelp Responsive was very slow. They had a large amount of content, and that large amount of content generated big big search index files, which need to be downloaded for each search operation. That is because the search engine embedded in WebHelp Responsive is implemented in JavaScript, and the browser needs to download the uh, content index every time the user performs a search. So to conclude the answer, the search functionality is not turned off if you choose to not enable the content indexing option in Oxygen Feedback.
Okay, thank you. I think this concludes today's live session. I will take back control, Aline.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, and thank you for answering our audience's questions, and thank you everyone for asking us questions. If you have any more questions, I encourage you to go to the event page that you can see right now, and use the feedback commenting platform that is that can be found right here. Also, you can use the mail to send us your questions at support@oxygenxml.com. Also, the recording for today's event will be available here on the on Aline's event page starting tomorrow, and also you will be able to see his presentation slides as well. Let me conclude today's event by reminding you what other events are waiting for you in the weeks to come, in the week to come, actually, because right now we only have one webinar scheduled on April 26th, meaning next Wednesday. We will have the interactive tutorials in Oxygen webinar presented by Sorin Carbonaro. Uh, as you know by now, a traditional tutorial implies a set of written instructions that the users must follow. So Oxygen takes the concept one step further. With our live tutorials add-on, the tutorial is embedded within the application itself. So the samples for each step are opened automatically, hence are available on request, and the mission success is detected automatically. So during this live webinar, we will explore the built-in Data interactive tutorials and how to create new tutorials and journeys. Of course, we will be adding more events such as this one in the near future. Also, if you go to the events page on our site, you can also see the conferences where you can meet in person our team that will be present at those. I want to thank you all for being able to join us today. I hope you had a great time and that you enjoyed our live presentation. Again, a big thank you to our today's presenter, Alin Balasha, and also a big thank you to Radu Pisoy and Adriana Nagoe that were behind the scenes to make sure that all of your questions are answered in real time. As always, we have some great events ahead of us, as I've previously told you. And so I hope that some of you will be able to join us again in the following weeks. Until next time, stay safe and have a great day or evening. Bye-bye.